It is about 6:40, and I can't sleep. So might as well wake up and talk to you and make a video, right? Um, why something's been bothering me for a while recently. In the last few weeks, we've been interviewing a lot of people um, because our business is doing well and we're growing. And I want to talk to you about two things today. One is education in the modern day, because frankly, I find that the traditional path of education has ill equipped people for adulthood, for working life. So, if you don't have to work, you don't need to listen to me. But if you actually have to work to make a living in this life, then maybe what I have to say is of some value to you. The second thing is that besides education, there's also the issue of understanding the relationship dynamic between employer and employees. I think that often the employer and the employees forget the other person's perspective, which makes the relationship somewhat contentious, more contentious than it needs to be. Right? So let's start with education. During my mom, I can't say about my grandfather's um, time, but during my parents' time, they're retired now, so they're in their 60s and approaching 70s. Having an education is very important. But I don't think people understand why having education was important. So, because back in those days, perhaps in most countries, most developed countries, maybe 1 out of 10 people, 1 out of 20 people had a college degree. When I say college, I mean a bachelor's. Now, let's not even talk about master doctors. So when you have something like that, what make you valuable wasn't the fact you're educated. What made you valuable is the fact that you're rare, right? You at least seem to know something that most people don't, and maybe you do. But what truly caused those people, my parents, at that time in history, to be able to enjoy a career that's relatively successful compared to their peers is the fact that they possess something that's rare, which is called education. Well, by the time I came around, education is no longer rare, right? I would say at least 50% population, maybe 40, maybe 50% population would have a college degree, like bachelor's. And there's already large quantity of people starting to look into master's degree in order to distinguish themselves from those who hold a bachelor's degree. So the game is ramping up, right? The game is going to get into the next level. So when I graduated, if you had a bachelor degree, it did not entitle you to a great job or a very desirable job, but entitle you to an okay job because you're still relatively rare, right? 1 out of 2 people, or maybe 1 out of 3 people, would have my degree, a bachelor degree. Of course, back then in my days, if you had a master degree, you're somebody. And you can get just like my parents' age, a bachelor degree from my parents' age, a master degree in our lifetime when I was graduating was worth something. And let's roll forward to the people I'm interviewing, employing. Today, the people I'm employing, which is 20 years my junior. I'm 40 now, so you're looking at probably 20 just graduated from bachelor degree, all the way up to 30, 20, 30 range, right? So I interview a lot of bachelor degree holder, master degree holder. I even interview PhD holders because of the nature of our business. So what I see is today, even if you hold a PhD today, you have a hard job distinguish yourself because whenever I post a job out there, okay, let's just give you an example. If I post a PhD level job, right, I would have at least 150 to 200 applications. And we're a small company. We're not like this big name company. So imagine what a big name company, the number of application they will receive for a position. If we post a similar job for a bachelor degree position, we will get probably about, last post we did was almost 300 applicants. 300 applicants. Out of those 300 applicants, we're only hiring 3. So you have 1 out of 100 chances to get this job. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So what is the worth of traditional education today? I'm not sure anymore. At least not when it comes to getting a job and making money. There, if you're looking to educate yourself for the sake of education, I think there's still plenty of value in traditional education. But as far as using it as a card to get into the club, a coveted club, a well-paid, desirable jobs, you're gonna have a hard time using that card anymore. With that being said, that leads to my second part, which is the relationship between employer and employees, right? Fundamentally, this is a very symbiotic, but also conflictory relationship. If I can explain to why that is, okay? Of course, you always hear the funny saying is that, oh, the employees pretend to work and the employers pretend to pay them. In many companies, in many businesses, depending on the founder and the management's mindset, that could be very well true. They treat this relationship as one of fraught with conflict, right? But at least for me, and at least to my mind, is actually that's not true, because fundamentally what employee does is provide value and allow an organization to grow and to be more productive and profitable. So I am very willing to pay a good employee well above the industry average for that position, for his education background, for his age. Because for us, employer, we don't really care that much about degree anymore, because that no longer tell us the caliber or the quality of these employees that are the person, right? What we're looking for as employer is who you are, what have you done, and what you care about. What are you good at? I interview 300 people. Often, less than 5 can tell me what they actually want to do, what they love to do, what they're very good at. No one can name that. Imagine these people gone through 20 plus years, sometimes 30 years of education, and they cannot tell you what they're good at. Or they have these trained answers that we're not stupid. We also know that there are a bunch of YouTube videos and training courses that teach you how to answer these questions the employer poses, right? It's like this. It's kind of sad, but interviewing has not become an authentic way of learning about each other, but about gaming each other. I give you a question, see how you respond. A trick question, a difficult question, right? And then you're like, oh, you have a prepared answer for me already. That sounds good, but it's not really true. I mean, everybody knows this game. Anybody who let's just spend 10, 20 minutes on Google learning about interviewing techniques and so forth. You see, it's the same thing. So we don't typically use the traditional interview questions. And we tend to have a conversation in our company with the person, like a best friend type conversation, or going on a first date, just get to know each other. So we tend to talk about a little bit everything, family background, how they grow up, what their relationship is with their friends. I don't want to give out all everything, how do they tell me about how they approach problem and decision making in a way that is not so much scripted, but based on their own lives. And we hear to see if their answer is honest or they're prepared to be impressive, so to speak. Right? So when we get an authentic person, even if he or she is not perfect, but she's authentic with her answer. She shows vulnerabilities in an authentic way. She shows imperfection in an authentic way. But more importantly, she shows the desire and the willingness to improve herself and a clear understanding of who she is and what she's good at, what she's not good at, then we tend to trust this candidate way more, and we tend to wait a lot more on hiring her than on someone who is seen to be polished and perfect. Because we know that we're playing games with each other. It's not real. It's like dating, and both sides are showing each other Instagram photos instead of having a true conversation. That's kind of the thing that's going on in today's world with hiring. So for us employers, the healthy employers and the healthy employees should understand that we need each other, right? And the employees is always in a very scared position that the employer will take advantage of him. So what the employees always want to do at the beginning of the hiring, before the hiring, they want to secure as much benefits for themselves as they can. It's like a battle. Oh, how much can I get the employer to agree to pay me before he hired me? Let me make a different suggestion on this topic matter, okay? Don't ask for too much. First, get something done. Get something valuable done for the employer. And then see how the employer treat you, right? Because you, as an employee, you have to think about from an employer's standpoint. When we hire an employee, we take on a lot of risk, right? You can always look for another job and quit and so forth. But for employer, we can't. In many countries, we can't just fire you if we want to. Even if we find out you're shit, we can't fire you when we want to, right? We have to, and also we have to pay a lot of money beyond what we pay you in salary, in the social benefit, in applying for employment pass, and all these things that cost us significant amount of money. Here in Malaysia, if I pay employee 5,000 ringgit, if you take home 5,000 ringgit, I'm actually paying you 6,500. I'm paying you 6,500, and depending on sometimes even more than that. Sometimes even approaching to 7,000 sometimes. But after all the taxes and the social benefits and the tax withheld, all these things, if you're taking home 5,000, sometimes I have to pay out 7,000 for you. So you have to think. I know most employees are never business owners or bosses, so they don't understand. But they have to try to listen to what I'm telling you. You have to listen to see from employers say, we're taking a lot of risk hiring you. So in the beginning, don't ask too much. Show us what you can do. Show us your worth. Show us your value. Because if you are worth something, you're an effective employee. You're smart. You're efficient. And you get stuff done. And you get things done in a very quick and clean and just good manner. A smart employer will naturally increase your wage, will naturally treat you better, because we know that you're gold. Because believe me, why do I go through 300 applications to hire 3 people? It's because we're looking for gold. It's a distribution curve. Humanity is a distribution curve, right? And we're not looking for the middle. The middle means mediocrity. We're looking for the tails. Either way, we're looking for exceptional people. Every company out there is looking for exceptional people, because only exceptional people in a company can make exceptional companies. You cannot get a bunch of mediocrity people and somehow create an exceptional company. You cannot. And every business owner, every manager are looking to build an exceptional company. Right? Why? Because their compensation is tied to being a bit better than everybody else. And we're out there competing. So if you're exceptional, you have the confidence to say that I am better than most people out there. Don't worry about asking too much. Just say, you know what, pay me what you think is fair for now, based on what you know of me today, and let me prove to you what I can do for you, for your company. And we can have this conversation again in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time. And once you prove that you're worth, and you discuss your true worth with the employer, and he or she refuses to pay you what you think is worth, oh, believe me, then you can move. Because then you know you're dealing with an asshole employer who doesn't know your value. as long as you're demanding within reason, right? Don't overvalue yourself. Oh, never value yourself because there's always somebody else out there to replace you. But if you're worth well, then the employer will be happy to pay you. Because for us employers, we're willing to pay you more only after we know that you're worth more, right? Because every employee that come in either is as a cost generator or a revenue generator. And we're looking for revenue generation, not cost generation, not trouble generators, not delay generators, not mistake generators, not fuck up generators. You know what I mean? So don't ask for too much. Prove yourself, and then watch what your employers do, and then make a decision accordingly. And please, as employee, have some differentiating skills. Back in the days, in our parents' days, having a PhD was a differentiator. Having a bachelor degree was a differentiator. Having a master degree was a differentiator. Today, those degrees are pointless. I mean, that just gets you into the game. That does not make you special. In fact, if you come to me today without education, but you are smart, you're educated, you know a lot of things, you have your own ideas, but you're still willing to listen, you're worth way more to me than someone who holds a bachelor degree, master degrees, or PhD degrees. So think about that, okay? And hope that what I just said kind of give you some new ideas and thoughts and directions on how you want to take your career, how you want to approach getting the job you want. If you're an employer, if you're an employee, think from an employer's perspective, what employers want and care about, and give it to them. And then when you give them what they want, they'll give you what you want. That's it. Have a good day.